Therefore, hopefully enjoy that little movie there. Again, you can see the wealth of the stuff that Pat has in his collection. So we're going to move on to our main feature. I'm going to introduce Marcus Howard to you, and he's going to talk about his movie. Marcus.
Thanks, Lee. Hello everybody, you're very, very welcome to a really momentous evening this evening. I mean, this is the last night of Michael Collins being alive. You can even visit the room, or outside the room, room 115. It's really sobering actually, you know. And I want to really thank Bartle, first of all, for setting this up, because this very easily couldn't happen, and he's moved mountains to get this happening here. And I want to congratulate James, because this was a brilliant documentary you just shown. It actually showed that, not to take away from anybody who's written the book, but it really leaps out from the book, if you know what I mean, when you actually see the memorabilia. One thing that I really want to say is, you've all just walked around building the block, okay? Or most of you have, okay? And you probably know I've got lots and lots of questions. I'll try and help where I can, and I'll try and provide some facts and evidence for you. You're probably wondering questions like, you know, who fired the shot, from which position, was it his own who did it, was it anti-treaty, is it some elaborate conspiracy, did Michael Collins contribute to his own death? So what am I going to do? I'm going to give you facts, I'm going to give you evidence. You make up your mind. Because I had all those questions when I was making the film as well. I will stress though, just in terms of answering questions afterwards, I'm probably only going to answer 5 or 6 questions, and that's not because I can't answer them, but we'll be here all night, okay, till 5 in the morning, and you know, in Michael Collins' words, we probably want to just set this with a wrestling match and a bit of ear. I have a part 2 to this film that you're about to see, called Michael Collins, The Final Hour and Build the Blob, and that deals with it in more detail, okay, and it's available on YouTube for everybody to see. And that was the intention for this film as well. We wanted to get this film out because we thought everybody's going to come out and, you know, have their own version of what happened in Build the Blob. Even if you disagree with Collins' stance on events in Ireland, you can see that even in his last days, how he was trying for peace, as were some members of the anti-treaty. The Collins family are here, and remember, if you're discussing this, you know, this is a real person. It's not Liam Neeson, okay? He's more interesting than Liam Neeson, but don't tell Liam Neeson I said that, okay? It's not my intention to make you feel that you should take any side at all in terms of this. I just tell the story as much from the anti-treaty as from the pro-treaty side. I'm an independent historian. I've made documentaries on Pearse, James Connolly, Ernie O'Malley, De Valera. I've documented battles of the period. I make them for free. And because I love history, and also because I have a relation who was involved in the 1916-23 period. I'm interested in all sides and from every perspective. Because I make them for free, my voice isn't always the loudest, but I hope it to be reasonably authentic. As historians, we build on the work of others. Incredible work has been done by Mita Ryan and Father Patrick Tuhig, okay, in terms of what happened in Bale na Bláth, as well as Simpak Coogan, and we just build on it. I'll build on that information. Witness accounts and pension statements have come out since then, you know. One thing though that really stuck out for me, I remember doing this research, and I remember seeing an interview with Una Mulhern. She's a niece of Michael Collins. She said something that really stood out for me. The ambush was set there for Collins, and her view was, whether it was a bullet by accident or not, the ambush was set. She said the anti-treaty party intended to kill him. So it is worth remembering that the person who pulled the trigger that killed Collins is merely the instrument of the person with the intent to have the ambush. This was not the only attempt on Collins' life. Members of the anti-treaty were talking about killing Michael Collins' brother the next day. If it wasn't for the intervention of Tom Hales, and he actually said about his brother, but he was pro-treaty, you know, we might kill him too, you know. They were also going to get him if he came back the next day. They all agreed if they arrived 15 minutes earlier, that all of them would have been wiped out. So, this documentary was made in 2020, when the whole world looked like it was going to end, like you all remember it, okay? So rather than watch TV, which was very, very depressing, I decided to make this film. And I'm glad I did, actually, to be honest. However, I was able to talk to experts worldwide. Some of them are here tonight. I have a lot of people at the time, just before we start, okay, so yeah, I get into major trouble if I don't thank them. I work with the best respected historians from my point of view, and all the music in this is original music, donated for free, because they like what I did, making the documentary free. These include Giulio Bono, Marco Rossi, and Eddie Sherlock, who's written his own song about Collins based on the documentaries we made, Tara Tyne, David Belly, and Noel O'Grady. Colorized photos are completed by John O'Byrne and Charlotte Hines, and the very first few seconds of this film has been painstakingly put together a video colorized animation of Michael Collins, which is made by Matt Lockery. Adriana Moura, who is sitting in the front row here, who's now very embarrassed, is here from Brazil. And she's here on holiday, and she has, and I've seen her, regularly pulled historians that I would consider very good apart on Facebook, okay, with facts and evidence, okay, so we're well able to deal with any kind of questions that come our way about this, okay. And whom has been a wonderful help to me, and this documentary wouldn't have existed without her, and I really want to thank you, Adriana. Derek Molyneux, who's also here, for travelling all over Bale-na-Blah with me. With Drone Camp, we spent 8 or 9 hours in Bale-na-Blah, and yeah, I think both of us were saying, you know, we need help at the end. But anyway, his expert literary knowledge is incredible, and he has written some of the best books available on Mercier Press, to do with 1916 and the War of Independence. Adam Duggan is here as well, who you'll see, who has arranged all the actors that you see in this film. Again, done for free. I contacted him during 2020 with like a script, and I was like, film that please, and he did, because you know you only get a 5-kilometre radius. I'm in Dundalk, alright? He's in Cork, thank you very much. Dominic Price for helping to tease out difficult questions, thank you Dominic. Liz Gillis for providing great analysis on the Hales brothers, both pro and anti-treaty sides. Historical military weapons expert from Georgia, America, Kieran McMullen, provided expert guidance and testing of firearms and testing of ammunition. And we've really looked at ammunition in depth in terms of the second part, especially in terms of ballistics and science, gun science. Just before I finish, so the Collins family are here. Neil Collins Powell is here. And actually, if you ever want to talk about the power of the internet, like we've spoken for ages. And it's the first time I've met him in person is today, because we're doing it through Zoom. Okay? So if ever anyone gives out about the internet, this is a good reason for the internet. What was it? Angus O'Malley was brilliant. He's the image of Michael Collins, as are quite a few of you here actually. Mary Claire Collins Powell, Michael O'Mahony, Paul America, who's here as well. Thank you so much for everything you've done. The Michael Collins relations I found are lovely people. Never mind their famous relations, just lovely people to talk to. And I think people need to say that, you know, you are. The son of Ernie O'Malley, Cormac O'Malley is in this, so you're getting this also from an anti-treaty perspective. Michael Barry for photographs. And lastly, there's a man you're going to see in this film with an eye patch. His name is Joe Connell. He spoke in Dublin Castle a month ago, and he really took ill, and he's in a very bad way at the moment. And I've interviewed him a number of times. I think I was the last person asking a question to do with history. But he was an expert at blowing away flimsy arguments, you know, where somebody has a theory and he just gets to the chase of it, you know. And I know what he'd say if he was here tonight. He would say, I'm providing you with all the facts and all the evidence. You are the jury. You decide. Okay? But they are facts and evidence. I hope to do Joe's and Emery a good service tonight, answering a few questions with this film. Let's make tonight a special night worth remembering. You're making history by simply being here. This is the 100th anniversary, okay? So every one of you in this room are making history by being here. Michael Collins lived for Ireland. And even those who fought against him had an admiration for him, even though if they disagreed with him. Michael Collins belongs to everybody, not just to any political party. And not just to the people of Ireland. And I'll tell you why. Because people have travelled from far and wide to be here. Karina Hernandez is here from Argentina. We have Brazilians here. Mustafa Ketti, he's composed the musical for Michael Collins. Okay, this is incredible that he's had such an influence worldwide. Michael Collins inspires a bigger vision, even if you don't agree with him. The anti-treaty are also to be admired as well, and they believe they were right. For me, Collins has lit the fire for people to do things for the sake of doing them, rather than just for financial reasons. Get the work done. For example, the people who tend his grave every week. Rain or sunshine, I have such admiration for them. For me, he inspired you to do things because it's the right thing to do, rather than having the spotlight shone on you as a vanity project. Over COVID, also, there was online history groups like Traz and Atira, with like Zoom talks, and we had people contacting us saying it was a lifeline for them. And that's why history is so important. History is a warm flame that nourishes us in the darkest of times. Michael Collins inspired everyone to be a bigger version of themselves. And to me, that's why he earned the nickname the big fella in my eyes. because he inspired us to be bigger than we are. Enjoy the 60-minute film, and hopefully I'll see you at the 200th commemoration in 2110. Thank you.